Where are one-hit wonders today? Who's in this video? Desiigner. Holy f, I haven't heard of him in years. I heard he was beating off an airplane or something and then got arrested for indecency. Gotye. Yo, Gotye is the GOAT. Oh my god, Sheck West. Y'all remember that meme in 2018? Sicko Motor Mo Bamba? Holy f. Looking back, bro, it was so cringe. Rob Stone, Chill Bill. All right, let's see this. Matty Balls.
Wikipedia defines a one-hit wonder as an entity that achieves mainstream popularity.
I feel so bad for one-hit wonders because, like, imagine everybody just coming you up and saying, "Oh, I know you from that one song," and that's it. That's all your career lives up to. Yeah, what's my one-hit wonder thing? I see. I'm not a one-hit wonder because my one-hit wonder thing. I've been doing this for 3 years. It would have happened by now. The timelines. It's not a one-hit wonder thing.
Often for only one piece of work and becomes known among the general public solely for that momentary success. It can be really difficult to follow up on a hit record, which usually results in the artist falling off or pursuing another.
Bro, and the pressure too they have, like, to live up to that song, that's gotta suck.
Their career. So today we're going to be looking into 4 one-hit wonders and seeing where they're at today. Starting off with Desiigner. Super quick, I want to say I have a very loose criteria for these one-hit wonders. Most of these artists will have, like,
I actually think Designer's not a one-hit wonder. He had the Timmy Turner.
1, maybe 2 platinum songs, but then pretty much no other songs that went platinum or gold or anything like that. So sure, yeah, they could have a small fan base, but like the definition I provided earlier, the general music listener probably only knows that one song from them. They might not even know the artist's name. So with that in mind, let's continue. Now, everyone always calls Desiigner a one-hit wonder because Panda was huge, but to be fair, Timmy Turner was huge. I like that one, and it did go platinum, so I think he's a 2-hit wonder if anything. Like I said though, Panda was huge, and eventually it went
Desiigner was actually so sped though, bro. In any interview, he was just spazzing out. He'd be like, yeah, cool, no, I gotta, like, god damn, bro. Every time I seen him in an interview, they put off the local crackhead off the street.
5 times platinum. In 2016, Desiigner was on top of the world, but nowadays rumors have floated around that he had
Didn't he sign that Kanye too? I met Kanye West. I'm never gonna fail.
Register as a sex offender due to an incident.
Is this the one where he was beating off on the plane? I didn't know he had to register as a sex offender. Crazy thing is, everybody's just gonna think he's an EDP. He's a predator, because anybody in the sex offender list immediately is like assumed to be a predator.
Actually, there was a bit of misinformation there, but I'll explain it later. So how did Desiigner get here? Well, let's check it out. Desiigner had been making music for a little bit and saw some buzz with his song Zombie Walk, but he first saw insane success after releasing his debut commercial single Panda. First released on SoundCloud, then shortly after uploaded to iTunes. This song, as I'm sure you all know, was a huge hit. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Desiigner had only released like a couple songs before putting out Panda, at least songs that we know of. But Panda was everywhere, and it was most notable for its unique sound and Designer's very energetic ad-libs. The song went #1, and Desiigner became the youngest artist to be at the top of the Billboard charts for 17 weeks. He quickly caught the attention of Kanye West and Pusha T, who had just taken over as...
Catching Kanye's attention at his peak is crazy work. Hey guys, Tom NFG here. You know, only half of you guys are subscribed and even less of you guys have noties on. I hate to be a burden, but you know, I really appreciate it if you hit that sub button and the little bell next to it. You know, it doesn't take long. I know you can get mixed up in the algorithm and everything. But yeah, also tune into the streams. You know, we have a lot of fun over there. I'm telling you, we have a lot of parties going on over there. Yeah, that's it. Bye. Damn.
President of Kanye's label Good Music. Desiigner was signed to Good Music in February of 2016 and was also featured on Kanye West's huge album The Life of Pablo on 2 different songs, one of which, Part 2, was technically sampling Panda, but it really felt like a remix.
That lame shit was on Secret Life of Pets 2. Are you serious? I can't blame him, bro. At that point, if you fall off, you just gotta take a gig. You gotta figure out what you gotta do. You got one hit. You gotta stretch that out, bro.
Hence the name Part 2. Anyways, Desiigner was blowing up, and he was blowing up quick. Keep in mind that at this time, Desiigner was only 19 years old, which was bound to cause some stress and maybe even
19, damn,
hinder his decisions.
And it was like, damn, like everything is happening so fast. You feel me? Because I just put the record out probably like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know what'll make you feel lazy as shit. Michael Jackson dropped Thriller at 23. Dropped the highest selling album in his early 20s. Okay, it was 24. That's insane, bro. And people say he's not the GOAT. Come on.
And now I'm with Kanye, you feel me? And it was like, damn, like, you feel me? So everything kind of was moving real quick. It was fun, but then it started to cause anxiety. You know what I mean? To a point that it was like certain times I ain't know how to move, because I wasn't used to having security guards and shit like that. You know what I mean? I was like, you feel me? I'm scared.
Yeah, I can't wait till the moment I have security guards, and then one of y'all comes up to me and you're like, "Oh, Tommy." My security's like, "Hey, chill out.
Walking down the block, you know what I mean? I'm rapping with my homies. Me and my homies are security, you know what I mean, for each other, you know what I mean? So it's like...
He became a XXL freshman in 2016, performed at the BET Awards, featured on Good Music's compilation album, released his mixtape New English, and was even featured on Bill Nye's Netflix show. He also released his song Timmy Turner, which was his second huge song. However, after 2016, we wouldn't really hear much from Desiigner. Desiigner released a handful of songs in 2017, but was seeing a steep decline in relevance. Meanwhile, in 2018, Kanye West was producing for and
peak albums,
working with Good Music artists and affiliates, helping them create some really good music. He did so with Pusha T, Tiana Taylor, and Kid Cudi, who wasn't signed at the time, but he...
Damn. A tear just shed down my face. We'll never see a collab from them again.
He had previously been signed. A few artists on the label, however, were neglected, one of which was Desiigner. Desiigner said he was going to release an album, and he even mentioned releasing 2 albums, but all that came out in 2018 was an EP called LOD, or Life of Desiigner. And I don't think it helps that Kanye's record label hasn't always had a good reputation. Despite all of the great artists and projects released under this label, it also has had many issues that are fairly public. Kanye himself even said,
Tom Holland? My nigga. Tom Holland gets signed to Good Music?
Running a record label was the biggest mistake I ever made. I never asked to be a label owner. Sony offered it to me, and I took it. But I can't be there when people are calling me to the studio to hear some music or approve clothes for a video. And it's pretty obvious that Desiigner experienced...
Instead of being the CEO of a record label, you want to be the new CEO of Germany.
The aftermath of this mistake. Following the release of his EP in 2018, the next year Desiigner had expressed his discontent with his label. First, he ranted about how Kanye and his label weren't doing anything for him, and even said Kanye was crazy.
I think he's the genius, I niggas think all that nigga shit, but the mean nigga, that nigga's crazy, nigga. And the mean...
He called it early.
Nigga, I've been doing shit by myself. To me, nigga, I brought Good Music back, nigga.
He then went on Twitter to say that he wanted to be released from his label. It was obvious that his label had been holding him back, and he hadn't released a single solo track in 2019. And judging by his...
I honestly think nowadays you don't really need a label like that. Like, the only way you should sign is if you, like, really trust the person or it's your friend or something. Because, like, you could just post your shit on TikTok, Twitter. Like, you don't need a promo from them. You could promo yourself pretty well. And then you got streamers, you know, like, I don't know, you can get on Kaizen ad stream or Max or whatever. Like,
output in recent years. That was because
I really don't think right now, like, you need a label like that if you're a music artist.
Put him on the back.
It's so
burner.
easy to put your music
Artists
out.
being shelved by their label is never a good thing, and Desiigner was clearly finding that out the hard way. Desiigner said in an interview that on multiple occasions he wanted to get into a room with Kanye to work on his music and get some pointers. He said the reason he signed to Kanye's label was to work with Kanye. It seemed like Desiigner just wanted a mentor in the game, as he was still pretty young at 22 years old. Regardless, after he requested to be taken off the label, he was released in late 2019. Also, another weird thing about this situation is that an album called Good was leaked on his SoundCloud, featuring 23 Desiigner songs with features from tons of popular artists. This led many people to thinking that this was the album that Good Music wouldn't let Desiigner release, so he leaked it to spite them. Whether or not that's true, Desiigner was clearly excited to be released from his label.
Anywhere, any second, this is the dream of every artist. This is the dream of every artist. Any second, any time, I get the bag out here, and I'm still touring, I'm still doing my thing. No label behind me right now.
In 2020, Desiigner did an interview with Everyday Struggle.
Oh, nah, not DJ Fatademics.
Further explaining his situation to DJ Academics. He had also told Vlad TV and others that he only left Good Music because of his issues with his dad going into a coma. But based on everything else he said in his output of music, I'm gonna assume that this was just an excuse to keep things on better terms with the label. After his separation from Good Music, Designer's output increased a ton, which made it obvious that Good Music was what was hurting his career. However, the damage had already been done. Since he was unable to release much music in the late 2010s, his streams and views went down a bunch. And of course, there are other...
I don't know, bro. I feel like certain people are just meant to be one-hit wonders, bro. He just seemed like a temporary thing, like, you know.
Factors that contributed to this, like mental health issues, family issues, and other things which heavily hurt him, not just musically. It's pretty clear how difficult his life was getting around this time, especially with his failing music career and his label issues. It got especially clear when he got arrested for exposing himself on a plane.
So
apparently
insane.
On a trip home from Tokyo, he exposed himself on a plane.
From Japan? Bro, you exposing yourself after being in Japan, man? Dude, you probably could have paid for a like prostitute out there or something and smashed if you were that horny. I'm pretty sure it's legal there.
And was scolded by the flight attendant. He then made a post that said, "For the past few months I have not been okay, and I have been struggling to come to terms with what's going on. While overseas for a concert I performed at, I had to be admitted into a hospital. I was not thinking clearly. They gave me meds and I had to hop on a plane home. I'm ashamed of my actions."
What does that have to do with you beating your meat? He hit them with a, y'all. Sadly, Due to mental health issues, I had to go to a hospital. They had to admit me. And that's why I beat off in that plane. That has nothing to do with the situation.
That happened on that plane. I landed back to the States and am admitting myself in a facility to help me. I will be canceling all of my shows and my obligations until further notice. Mental health is real, guys. Please pray for me.
I've never heard somebody have a mental health problem where they had to start like beating off in public because of it though. That's a new one to me.
If you're not feeling like yourself, please get help. Like I said earlier, there were false reports that he had to register as a sex offender after this, but his attorney actually said that wasn't true. On the music side of things, though, probably his biggest success as of late was featuring on the song
He was on Vultures too?
Sky City by Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign.
But he's on Vultures too. That's his biggest success? On Vultures too? Yeah, bro, that career is done.
He just had some vocals on the hook, but I'm sure he got some royalties, so that's good. I'm not sure if him and Ye patched things up because this song was worked on between 2018 and 2019, and all the label problems happened around that time too, so who knows. And aside from that, Desiigner has been releasing a ton of singles over the past few years, and all of them have floated around 100,000 plays on Spotify, which isn't too bad, but it's also not great. So I hope Designer's doing better these days as he's no longer with his label, and I hope he's getting the help he needs. And for better or for worse, while Desiigner is still making headlines these days, the creator of
the thing is, if I became like a one-hit wonder or like my song started blowing up like crazy, I'm gonna be smart and start investing my shit, bro. You know, like even with my money now, y'all, like I don't be like throwing away my money. I barely spend like the money I make and stuff, and you know, I'm trying to invest into my future and shit. I'm not trying to, I don't know, buy the most extravagant car or just do something, bro, because I could care less about that, to be honest. But when I do have the funds for it, shit, yeah, I don't really care. When I got money, I'm gonna do it.
Somebody that I used to know completely ditched his music career. Well,
Gotye,
but I'll explain.
You didn't have to come. That's such a classic.
Gotye is an artist that went multi-platinum and won 3 Grammys thanks to his hit single Somebody That I Used to Know. I'm sure you guys all
he could have been him. He could have easily been like one of them ones.
Remember that song? And it was even one of the most recommended songs on another video I did about one-hit wonders. But he intentionally did something that would sabotage his career after this song came out, which left many people wondering what happened to him. Well, Gotye got his start in music in the early 2000s, when he realized that he was able to produce songs on his computer and sample other songs. He was really big on sampling and utilized it a ton in his early music.
Look, my parents' record collection was the first one from which I really went through and pillaged and started sampling from. So yeah, there's been kind of a direct connection between the music they had at home, the music they listened to, and how it's found its way into my love of pop music that I, you know.
He put out a 4-track CD in 2001 and sent them to tons of radio stations and other people in the industry. Gotye really started growing when he got noticed by the Australian radio.
Damn, could he be any closer to that mic? God damn, bro. All right, we get it. You didn't have to cut her off.
Station Triple J, and they put some of his tracks on the radio station. This led to him getting a publishing deal, and he put out his first album, Boardface, in 2003. Slowly but surely, Gotye was growing as an artist. He had been doing some shows and touring around Australia with his band The Basics. Then in 2006, he released his album Like Drawing Blood, which was fairly successful. Thanks to Triple J's support, he got a lot of attention on his project and was even voted as the best album of 2006 by Triple J listeners.
Why he looked
this
like
album
Tree
allowed
there.
for him to get connections to his manager and sold over 70,000
Pretty good for somebody that's not that known.
copies. Gotye was coming up, and over the next few years, he won multiple awards for his music in Australia, and even won an award for Like Drawing Blood in the UK. But then things got a whole lot crazier for Gotye than just his Australian success, because he was about to release one of the biggest songs of the next decade. Thanks to his previous success, Gotye was able to afford to continue making music and also was allowed the luxury of releasing music internationally, something he hadn't really done much before. Most of his success had just been local, with some in Europe as well. However, he started working on his next album, Making Mirrors, and released a couple of singles. The first did fairly well, and the second one changed his life forever. The song Somebody That I Used to Know was released on July 5th of 2011. It started out debuting at 27 on the Australian Top 50 Singles chart and quickly began growing. It also got a boost from people like Ashton Kutcher and Lily Allen on Twitter. People with
and back then, bro, a celeb co-signing you was like, you were good, bro.
millions of followers. But what surprisingly worked out in his favor is when the music video for this song was leaked.
I guess I've seen
They
little spot
leaked
fires
it?
around the world kind of start up. You know, I mean, it leaked. The video leaked in Australia a week before it was meant to be released, and very quickly started, you know, getting a lot of YouTube views. And it's the first real hit single I've had in terms of commercial airplay in Australia and being a real like top 10 charting song. And then, you know, to see the same thing happen in Belgium and Holland, then over Christmas in Germany, and now in North America, it could be heading the same way. It's kind of It's interesting.
I'm sure you guys know how big of a song this was because it went crazy.
Yeah.
When first released in the United States, it debuted at 91 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Damn.
People performed the song on things like American Idol, and it started catching some momentum. It hit #1 and stayed there for 8 weeks. It was the best-selling song of 2011, and it has since went 14 times platinum.
14x platinum. He is retired off that.
It helped that this track was deemed by many as a super relatable breakup song. Like Unilad said, somebody that I used to know became one of the biggest and most recognizable hits of the 2010s. With the post-breakup...
I don't know how many songs are Diamond, like that's 10 million sales, but I think there's not even a lot in the world. I think there's like 40 maybe.
Anthem resonating
for that to be
right
up there,
around the world. Even Prince said he
him.
loved this song when it won a Grammy.
And the Grammy goes to...
Nah, Prince, bro.
I love...
Who's here, bro? Lonely Boy, The Black Keys, We Are Young. Oh, that's a good song. Damn. Tonight. Thinking About You, Frank Ocean. We're Never Getting Back Together, Taylor Swift. Stronger, What Doesn't Kill You, Kelly Clarkson. Bro, we was really eating good back then, bro. What happened, man? All the music here is like pretty good from these artists.
This song. Somebody that I used to know.
But for some reason, despite all of his success, Gotye decided to leave it all behind. After releasing his album Making Mirrors in 2011, doing the usual newly famous person press run, like performing on Jimmy Kimmel, and things along those lines, Gotye sort of vanished. As things wound down in the following years, aside from doing a few performances, Gotye hadn't released any new music. And by 2014, he announced to fans that there would be no more new music. He said, "There will be no more Gotye music." Wait, maybe there will be. I'm not entirely sure right now. There are many contingencies. Gotye even revealed in 2017 that he doesn't put ads on.
Don't you want to become an artist though to become big? That's the equivalent of me saying like, oh, I'm a YouTuber or streamer and I don't want to become big. Like I'm done after I blow up. That doesn't really make sense to me.
His songs. But he said, "I'm not interested in selling my music. That's the reason I don't put ads on my YouTube channel." Which seems strange to people in today's climate, but that is a decision you can make. I'm like that with all my music. I generally never want to sync my music for products.
In all due respect, bro, that's a terrible take. You're posting your art online for people to also hear it, but it's also good to get compensated for it too. Like, how are you literally about to live your life? You can't invest in your art if you're not making money from it.
He even said that he lets student filmmakers use his music for free as well. And Gotye had made it very clear what his goal was in the music industry.
Do you have any worries about becoming identified with that song rather than your body of work?
On some level,
It becomes your Smells Like Teen Spirit.
yeah.
You know?
Well, that's perhaps inevitable. I mean, I guess everybody, has to have their biggest song. Most of my favorite songs that I've ever produced, the ones that I think, are the, in whatever peculiar way, are the best confluence of, the experimentation I like, a lyrical concept I'm really into, and maybe having made a production that I think is really great, that I'm really, I guess, the most proud
Bro,
of.
he seems really talented too. You can tell by the way he uses these instruments.
They're often the songs that divide people the most. They're the ones that people go, I don't get this at all. Like, what's he thinking? And I'm like, yeah, this is great. And, people who really get it, they love it. And it's kind of for those people I would continue to make music, and for myself, rather than the people who go, oh, somebody that I used to know was his biggest thing. Yeah, he never matched that. I'm like, they're the cursory listeners,
Right.
I mean, that sounds kind of, dismissive, but I'm not saying everybody has to like all the other stuff I do, but I'm not I'm not concerned if, this is my biggest hit or whatever.
So why did he quit, and what does he do now? Well, there were various factors that likely played into it. For example, he repeatedly said he wasn't entirely proud of the fact that he was spreading a more negative message with his viral breakup song. There was also the issue of people.
You didn't have to cut me out. How's that negative? Somebody that I used to know. It's not really negative.
People only knowing him
see
for
it.
the one song, which seemed to impact his performances. As one fan said on Reddit, my friend said when he performed at Coachella the year he blew up over this song, it was the first one he performed and then the crowd just left.
That's crash out time right there if that happens to me. But like, honestly, bro, this be TikTok artists nowadays. They got that one song hit, they play, everybody's like, oh my god, we know this one, and then they leave. Steve Lacy treatment. The thing is, Steve Lacy is like actually a couple hits. It's not as known as Bad Habits. People still know him. Like, people didn't know Gotye or whatever. He didn't have multiple songs.
The LA Times even said, with time left, that those who came for the 4 minutes of angsty heartbreak had gotten what they needed and started to file out. Gotye said, now that that's out of the way, let's get to the real music. Or at least that's what I'm assuming he was going to say. These reasons, among others that I mentioned earlier, were probably why he decided to switch it up and ditch the Gotye project altogether. In 2014, he started his own indie label called Spirit Level. He also rejoined the band I mentioned earlier called The Basics. And over the years, they put out 13 albums and have played over 2,500
And now nobody knows a single one. That's crazy.
shows. In 2021, they announced they were done touring, but they still plan
They were touring until 2021. Yo, why he look like the Prince Harry?
on making and releasing music. So it honestly seems like Gotye had the most genuine and passionate approach to the music industry, more than most artists seem to.
Like, you could be passionate about music, your art, and also get compensated. Like, bro, I'm passionate about doing YouTube and streaming. I love doing it, right? I wouldn't ask to do anything else, but like, you know, it's a good thing that I have also monetization to help motivate me as well and stuff like that. And I'm not very rich, to be honest. Like, I'm not loaded or some shit, but even when I am, it won't matter to me because I'll still be doing this. Like, it doesn't matter.
He literally got his bag as Gotye, made some great music under that name, and then decided to work on a much more fulfilling project with some of his friends. So regardless, while Gotye may have been a one-hit wonder, Wally Backer had a very fulfilling and successful music career, which is what matters at the end of the day. Wally's his real name, by the way, just so that doesn't completely confuse you. And while Gotye went back to making music after his insane success, Sheck West decided to pursue an entirely different career. Sheck West is a rapper who took the internet by storm with his song Mo Bamba. It was super viral, everybody was singing it, and there was also that stupid TikTok trend where people overfilled their cups
Oh my god, I forgot about this.
of water with that song playing in the background. And to be fair to Sheck, he did have another platinum song, but it was a feature, so I'm not entirely going to count that, and many people still consider Sheck West a one-hit wonder. So let's check it out. Sheck West actually started out as a basketball player / model, which is when he saw the most success in his early career. He even modeled for Yeezy Season 3 at Madison Square Garden back in 2016. He was toying around with the idea of making music the whole time, but was much more successful in other areas. But Sheck's mom didn't like how he was moving around, especially with the modeling thing, so she sent him to Senegal.
Sending your son back to a country for chasing his dream is crazy, bro. That's the thing, bro. People don't understand, dude. Immigrant parents, depending on the household, I'm gonna say depending on the household. If you got like immigrant parents, bro, and they're all school heavy, it's worse, bro. Dude, for the longest, bro, I swear I did not tell my parents I was doing YouTube and streaming. I just couldn't, because I knew they were just gonna be like, nah, bro, you gotta go to school. I literally didn't even tell my parents, y'all, until I had 50K subs on YouTube, and then I showed them my YouTube channel, and then even then they were still like iffy on it. My God, and your parents are the best. I mean, that's why I said it's depending on the household, to be honest. Like, not all like immigrant households. Some parents are more, I guess, happy about it, and then some will just cut off their fucking kids if they try to chase their dreams or do something like that.
Mom sent me to Africa because she didn't want me modeling and I wasn't going to school. I was like running in the streets with all my friends. Yeah, to Senegal.
Parents are iffy when it comes to streaming.
Just gonna be taking these
I would say honestly, anybody dealing with that, you just gotta like, I mean, if you're under their household, you gotta deal with that, or I don't know, you might just have to do it in secret or something, and then eventually show them. That's the only thing I could think of if your situation's dire.
little photos
really
of
wanna do
hanging
it.
out with the weed smokers. We sending you back.
I wasn't even like smoking crazy back then. Like I was just on some like just wild like.
So it really seemed like his mom was trying to straighten him out or something. Eventually, he came home and decided to commit to music. He started putting out some tracks and eventually created his song Mo Bamba back in June of 2017. However, it didn't really blow up until late 2017 or early 2018. As Wikipedia describes it, it was a word-of-mouth sensation without record label or radio support. Eventually, the song blew up and even peaked at number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. It even went 5 times platinum. Travis Scott caught wind of this song.
See, when a song blew up back then, it blew up. Nowadays, bro, it's just TikTok songs, which is what sucks.
And wanted to sign him to Cactus Jack, but then Kanye intervened and said he wanted to sign him too. Sheck said, "My deal was about to be signed with Cactus Jack, and then Kanye heard Mo Bamba, and he was going crazy. He flew me out to LA overnight. I went in there with a butterfly effect hat on, and he's on the phone calling Trav like, I heard you're fucking with Sheck West. I'm fucking with Sheck West too. Let's do this shit together." And just like that,
Old Kanye and Travis fighting for you to get them on your label. That would be the most happy person alive.
Sheck West had signed a joint record deal with Good Music and Cactus Jack. Following this, Sheck went on a nice run featuring on Travis Scott's No Bystanders, Jack Boy's Gang Gang, which also went platinum, Dreamville's Stick, and many more over the years. He was also touring with Travis. However, as time went on, it seemed like Sheck was becoming more known for his features, if anything at all. His 2018 debut album Mudboy was fairly successful. It peaked at 17 on Billboard and it went gold. Though to be fair, I think those stats were definitely carried a bit by Mo Bamba. However, despite his cosigns from some of the biggest artists in the game, it seemed like after all this, Sheck West just vanished. Like I said, apart from his occasional features, Sheck West really wasn't heard from too much. Right after Mudboy, he announced another album, but we never heard it. Many fans theorize he was mismanaged because both Cactus Jack and Good Music don't have a great reputation when it comes to managing their artists, like we saw with Desiigner earlier in the video.
Who knows where the fuck Sofaco is?
Video. He later said in 2020 on Twitter, "We announced Hell to Paradise in 2018, a day after Mudboy. Don't give a fuck about what's happening or the outcome," which definitely makes me think there were some label issues. Then in 2019, he got hit with quite a few allegations. First, he was accused of not paying for a music video, and then was accused by his ex, Justin Sky, of abuse and SA. Then some of his former classmates.
Yeah, no, that'll do it to any artist, bro. Any artist coming up, making their slow come up, they get accused of that, and it's not provable as of yet that they didn't do it. They end up getting cooked.
Accused him of abusing women in high school. Then another girl named India Love also accused him of the same thing.
Yikes.
Now, nothing legally ever came of these accusations, but of course it hurt his image. Sheck obviously has denied all of these, but he did get removed from an advertising campaign because of this. Then, of course, the pandemic hit in 2020, and that's what really solidified the slowing down of Sheck's career. However, something happened that opened up an opportunity for him. In 2020, he acted as if he was entering the NBA draft, but it was just promo for his song Been Ballin'. However, after this happened, someone from the Paris Basketball League was interested in signing him. So, Sheck was able to live out his basketball dreams playing in Paris after signing. He said, "I didn't come here to sell my album or make it gimmicky. I came here with no chains on. I came here just to hoop. I didn't come here to bring the whole circus to Paris basketball."
It's not the worst. I mean, going from like, you know, one hit wonder to like a professional basketball player in Paris, not bad. How much was he getting paid though? Was he getting paid good? Because if he's getting paid like, I don't know, like 100,000 salary a year, it's probably better to be a rapper.
Basketball. I came here to hoop and play hard. Unfortunately though, he only ended up playing 3 games for reasons I'm not sure of. But it's interesting, despite him being only 26 years old, he's been able to play professional basketball, have a very successful modeling career, and be a multi-platinum artist. And Sheck West also still releases music, just not too often. Most recently, he had a controversy where he accused Kanye of stealing his flow, cadence.
"You stole my whole cadence, flow, beat, tempo to get #1. You delusional and you ain't checking with the buzzins. You niggas really bugged out." Promise you, Kanye did not steal your flow, bro. Kanye does not need your flow.
Beat and tempo on the song.
Look at the likes on the comment, 445.
On Carnival,
come on, bro.
Which may honestly have some merit, as artist-owned record labels have often been critiqued and accused of stealing ideas from their signees. On top of that, Sheck is
an idea, maybe,
credited as a writer on the song Carnival. Regardless, Sheck seems to be living out all his dreams, doing whatever he wants to do.
Why didn't he release Carnival then? If he had the idea of Carnival, why didn't he just produce it and release it himself? Like, he had years. It's not like he's known.
On the song Carnival. Regardless, Sheck seems to be living out all his dreams, doing whatever he wants to do, and having a good time. But this next one-hit wonder is still trying to make the music career work out, even though it's been 8 years since his hit single. Rob Stone is a rapper that most of us probably know from his hit single Chill Bill. I mean, it's hard to say his name, Rob Stone, without saying
I listened to that song in a break. That shit was viral
phones right afterwards. But I've personally been wondering what happened to him after his 4 times platinum viral hit.
God damn!
So let's check it out. You may be noticing a pattern by now, because Rob Stone is another artist who blew up off one of their first songs, which was Chill Bill. Originally, he released it in 2014 on SoundCloud. Then he put out a mixtape on SoundCloud, followed by a music video for Chill Bill. However, it was finally commercially released in June of 2016.
Rob Stone, I'll never forget what he did to X. Yeah, no, that was crazy, bro. I remember exactly when it happened, too, because I was an X fan.
Debuting at 99 on the Billboard Hot 100, and eventually it worked its way up to 19. It also got a remix with Drum, Denzel Curry, and Cousin Stiz. And as I'm sure you guys know, this song was everywhere. Like I said, it's hard to say his name without saying 2 damn phones right after. Because of this song's success, he was able to collaborate with people like Lil Skies and Lil Yachty.
Lil Skies fell off the face of the earth, god damn.
He was performing at places like Coachella and opening for artists like Desiigner, which was a lot more impressive at the time this song went viral. But to be honest, after this song died down, so did the rest of his career. Like, he's one of the few one-hit wonders on here to hardly have any interviews or many other notable things apart from this one track. And what I believe had a big part in his fall-off was his beef with XXXTentacion and Ski Mask the Slump God. It all started in April of 2017 while Ski and Rob Stone were opening for Desiigner on his tour. It seems like Ski tried to go out and grab a mic, but instead Rob Stone started his set, so Ski just stayed on stage in frustration and was then escorted off the stage. X saw this video and got mad, saying, "Let them know whoever the fuck that is getting fucked in their mouth when I go on tour for putting their peasant hands on my brother."
X used to be wildin', bro. This nigga did not give a fuck. Bro, he would just go at anybody. You pissed him off a little bit and he was going at you.
Rob Stone saw this and got
mad.
Peasant,
that's some Kanye shit, I'm not gonna lie. Peasant hands.
Saying, "I'm not Drake. Don't come around here with that bullshit."
Damn, he was an early Drake hater too? No, he was. Yeah, they did have beef.
Ski chimed in saying, "Is there a problem though? Cause you see how your team tried me. We can tell the fans all the details.
But me and Ski Mask was talking in DM, like kind of squashing it, like, you know what I mean?
You guys are tour mates at the end of the day.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we both trying to do a tour. We'll shopping it up. But X was over there still gassing it.
Just adding the fuel.
Yeah, you know, writing the check, you know what I mean? And I told Ski Mask, like, you better tell him to pipe it down, bro.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And then they both just decided to keep it going like that.
The next night on tour, Ski got jumped while he was on stage, fell off the stage, got back up, and then was chased by a big group of people. No one was really sure who jumped Ski, but it was likely they were affiliated one way or another with Rob, or they were at least fans. Ski then said on Twitter, 30 people against 4, I'm unbothered and unscathed. A couple of months later, X was performing during his tour and got knocked out by a dude.
You could see it through.
And got
he flew. That's like a supercharged punch too. Like that's one of the ones, like it reminds me of one of those cartoon ones where they put the sound effect and then boom.
By a dude who rushed on the stage, who was then jumped by X.
That's some lame shit too, bro. I hate when people sucker punch somebody and don't even give them a chance.
Security. Apparently a bunch of people in the crowd started chanting Rob Stone after this happened. X then tweeted, security set me up, I got sucker punched and knocked out, it is what it is. Next time make sure you kill me so I can't talk shit. Rob Stone denied any involvement in an interview the day after, and X also commented on the situation.
I feel straight. In the end of the day, this is the life I live. Nigga finally caught me lacking, and it was about time. Bitch, I was, what, 5-0? Shit. About fucking time a nigga knocked me the fuck out. Anybody talking about it was that pussy boy artist. Just so you know, it was some gang niggas from San Diego, some affiliates that snuck in through the side, paid security off so they could come in, snuff me out, and thought they was gonna jump me, but we was too deep.
Regardless of who is right, I'm sure you guys all know how like cult-like of a fan base X has, so you already know they had his back. And in my opinion, that's a big reason as to why Rob Stone fell off. People hated Rob Stone so much, and to this day, X and Ski fans
think he would have been fine if he just made good music. X was hard for real. Nah, bro, I'm telling you, bro, this generation don't understand, bro. Okay, yes. What's that? What's a father? Yes, it was cringe. All right, clip is cringe, but like, bro, like this nigga was hard, bro. He did not give a fuck. Artists do not do this anymore.
Troll him in his comments. On one of his latest songs, there are a bunch of comments like, buying views is crazy, show the real numbers. It's no coming back for Rob Stone, his career is over. Nah, Ski had every reason on G. This shit trash, X was better. Despite the hate though, apparently Rob and X patched things up. After X passed, Rob shared a phone call they had where X said,
I think it's worse too, yeah, that X passed, like people are always gonna think he's the dude that like knocked out a dude that's dead now.
I understand why things went the way it went. So I just wanted to let you know I don't got no smoke with you. We can make money together. Just give it time, we can link, we can talk. Rob said under the post, I would never wish death upon another human being. We had our differences and battles in the field, but at the end of it all, X reached out to me like a man and we talked it out like men. I wasn't ever with
no, I mean, it's not his fault that, you know, X passed away. Like, what was he supposed to do about it?
Posting this out, man, but I feel like the both of our supporters need to hear this for closure.
Slump's fall off was crazy. I think for Ski Mask, it was just more of him, like, he had, like, issues, like, his mental issues and stuff, and, you know, like, X and Juice passed away, so, like, that definitely affected him. I don't know. I think he's streaming now. That's the last time I saw him.
Please let him rest peacefully. By this point, though, it was too late, and fans had already made up
But certain people also do just grow out of their craft. Like, he may have not liked doing, like, music anymore, and he was just like, nah, I'd rather just do content or, I don't know, stream.
Minds about Rob Stone. There was nothing else he really did that caused his fall off, apart from not following it up with another hit, and his beef with X. Nowadays, Rob Stone is still putting out music, albums, singles, the whole shebang, but most of his songs are struggling to crack even 100,000 plays. Like I said, X fans are still hating on him, which probably doesn't help, and it does seem a little unfair since they patched things up, so you guys should leave him alone. It's been 7 years, he's probably learned his lesson. Anyways, if there's anyone that you thought should have made this list, they're probably in my other video I did on One Hit Wonders. I wanted to make
I didn't
a
even see
follow-up.
Silento.
Because there's a lot to talk about, and I had a lot of suggestions.
That man's in jail, bro. A W video. Yeah, listen, man. Hopefully I don't become a one-hit wonder. If you're watching on the 2, make sure to join the Discord and watch the streams.
Subscribe to Tommy NFG.